All right, welcome to, I guess, lighting testing grounds here today. I've got some lights that I've had for like a year and a half that I've been wanting to test. Now I'm forced to figure out what I want to do because I'm building a wash bay. So the wash bay at my house is going to be 40 by 40. And what I would like to have is I'd like to have the ability to have color changing or color temperature change. I don't know this for a fact, but at my Woodgate house, the house that had the little pull-through garage or little pull-through area and had the wash bay out back, there was some lighting color temperature difference. So if I was at night, let's say dusk or evening or at nighttime, if I was out in the pull-through area, I had 3,000 Kelvin Cree CR6s in the ceiling. And if I stood out there, I'd get mosquitoes. Mosquitoes would swarm and, come around and bite you. But yet, if I went 50 feet out to the pole barn, still same conditions, same area, same everything, those lights were 6,500 Kelvin. And we get tons of beetles and dragonflies and moths and stuff that would fly around, but we wouldn't get any mosquitoes. So I'm thinking that the mosquitoes are not seeing the blue light or the daylight look, the 6500K. Plus 6500K has some benefits in here. We're operating on 5000 Kelvin. It's a little harsher. That bluer light is a little bit harsher than like 5K or 4K. So like in the office we have 4K, in the garage we have 5K. Normally in your home you'd have 3 or 3500 Kelvin color temp on the yellower side. My house in here down the street has 3,500 Kelvin. The house in Helen has 3,000. The Helen house is a browner looking house, and so 3K made more sense. The house here is more sort of sterile whites, grays, so 3,500 made sense. So I have these lights that I've been planning to test. So Cree has a technology called SmartCast. So the SmartCast control communicates with the module that's in their SmartCast fixtures. Now I don't think, this is something I'm trying to figure out here. This is the one I just took apart here. This is a Cree, and I'll put it back together so you can see what it looks like. This is a Cree light or LED. I took it apart because I wanted to see how this worked. This is called a CR Troffer. Now Troffers are really made or designed for drop ceilings. And if you guys have been following along for a while, about a year and a half ago, I put in, maybe I guess a little bit longer than a year and a half ago, I put in ZR Troffers on the ceiling at the Harbor Hills house. Now, what we didn't know is that in order to put a Troffer flush on a regular ceiling, it has like a 5.5 inch enclosure, so it puts this big box on the ceiling. So it didn't look great. The lighting was fantastic, but it didn't look great. The ZR Troffers are just, you pick your color temp, that's what it is. CR and Flex Troffers have the ability to color change, or CCT, color changing technology. So we're just experimenting on how to figure this out. So right now, I'll show you in the other room, in the studio, we're hanging from the ceiling. Mike's making a temporary setup, and we're going to test out the Flex Troffer first, and then this is the CR Troffer. But this is what I haven't quite figured out. So this has CCT, and this is what's so confusing about this stuff. Once you know it, it's simple, but until you know it, it doesn't make a lot of sense. The model number, the way the model numbers work is it's called 9ACK. So 9ACK or 9ACK gives you the ability to then communicate with your remote control. And on this remote control, it's going to have essentially the ability to change colors. You're going to change the color temp. And so there's a module and a box on the light. And then this one doesn't have ACK. It's not an ACK model number, but it has color changing tech CCT. So this is a 5K light fixed. I'm not sure if we can change the color temp of this, so we're going to figure that out. But anyway, it's pretty interesting how this light works. So the Flex Troffer just fires down and then through this diffuser here. This fires up, reflects off the white, and then you have the diffusers that are on either side. So I'm interested to see how the lighting looks, how it looks different between the two fixtures as well. So we're going to play with that. So worst case scenario, if I have the wrong model here, then I'll get one and we'll test it out. But I want to see the difference between the Flex Troffer and the CR Troffer. So let's go in the room and I'll show you how we're setting this up.
All right, so what I'm going to do is Matt will kind of explain why, but what we're doing is mocking up these new Cree. They're variable color temp and dimmable. So what I'm doing is there's a special switch that we're going to use, there's a remote, and what we're doing is just trying to test it. So I'm going to turn off the lights in here and just have that one fixture up there. I just temporarily hung it up there with some wire. Yes, I know it looks like kind of halfway done, but anyway, so we're going to get just rob power off a receptacle, power up a switch, run power up to the light, and then we can test it out. So we've got 2 lights to check. Matt knows the model numbers probably. So we're gonna do that and I'll let him explain the rest. I gotta go grab some wire nuts and I'll get this hooked up real quick.
All right, so here's what we're doing. We're just temporarily mounting the Troffer. Now, in a perfect world, we would do linear fixtures. These are the perfect type of fixture for a garage. They have a round lens or square lens option, but there is no color changing ability with the LS fixtures that we've been doing in all the garages. You pick your color, that's the color you get. But just imagine like this scenario I'm talking about with a Washbay. I would normally run it at 5000K, and then as it gets towards dusk, I would bump it to 6500. Or let's say I had like a weird colored car or something, I wanted to bring the color temperature down, I could. And so really what I'm interested most in these Troffers is for detailing, like a detailing studio. Like if you had a section of the garage where you know you're going to be detailing, and you're depending on the color of the car, like I'm finding that 4500 Kelvin is the easiest for me to see defects in the Brewster Green car. So usually lighter cars, white cars, you're better off with a lower color temp, and darker cars, you're better off with a higher color temp. So imagine you had your ceiling, you could sort of put these fixtures, recess them in the ceiling, and then have it have like a section where you could color shift or color change. And they're not crazy expensive. I want to say it's probably $400 a fixture, and you have maybe another $1,000 worth of stuff between the remote control and the switches in order to make it work. So it's not like it's $10,000 extra to do these color changing lights. And so in the Washbay, it'll probably be something like $3,000 more, but we're going to be doing like 30 different fixtures in the Washbay. So we're going to kind of see how these function. And here's one of the conundrums, or one of the things we really didn't know how this worked. I think we've got it figured out. So all these LS fixtures are a 0 to 10 volt dimming system. So in order to dim it, you need a module that is a 0 to 10 volt, and in Lutron's world they call it a POW pack. So you need this box that sends 2 extra wires, control wires, that sends it either 0 up to and graduated up to 10 volts. And so you at full brightness, it'll send 10 volts to the light. At maximum dim, it'll be some fraction of a volt.
Opposite.
Is it?
0 volts full bright. As you add voltage, it dims.
How?
Because if you don't hook it 0 to 10, they're on full bright. As you add voltage,
that's true, yeah.
It dims, the module dims down.
Oh, so there's a not a ballast, a driver. Mm-hmm. So the driver needs the driver accepts the voltage. Yeah, you're right. Okay, that makes sense. So when you add the 10 volts, it will dim down to, these will dim down to 5%, I believe. Some will dim down to 1%. And so you need that module in order to dim the fixtures, otherwise they're just on full bright all the time. And so it's different than a forward phase dimming system where, I'm not exactly sure how that works, but it's dimmed with the switch. The switch does the dimming. So in this case, the module does the dimming by sending different voltage signal to the light. So the question on these flexes, that they don't answer anywhere, they just gloss over this stuff, is how do I dim the fixture? Because the SmartCast switches don't have a 0 to 10 volt dimmer in it. And so what we found is that there's a Wi-Fi or wireless module in the light, just like, so it's an RF module that's built into the light. There's also an occupancy sensor in these lights as well. I'm not sure how we'll control that, but something through the remote. So the light has the 0 to 10 volt built in. So think about this logically, even though they're going to be a little bit more than a LS fixture, it has the POW packs are like $100, I think. So it has the $100 0 to 10 volt dimmer built into it. At least we're pretty sure it does. So essentially we're just making a box here. We're gonna plug it. So we made a little temporary plug in the wall, put the switch in the middle, and we're gonna see how this works. So I pulled apart the CR Troffer. The CR Troffer is up firing. So that metal thing in the middle is the LED. It fires up and then it broadcasts out the diffusers, yeah. But I like that look, that aluminum heat sink look.
Yeah,
looks
super slick.
better.
Yeah, I know.
So we wanted to put it in a room here where we could test it out and see how it looks. And then we'll put the CR up here so we can compare the two. Because if I'm about to spend, $10,000 on lights, I want to, $6,000, $7,000 on lights. I want to make sure that at least have an idea of what I'm getting. And so by proxy, then I'll tell you what to get. This is what I do. I'm a professional shopper. And I've literally had these things on the shelf. I've been moving them around. They've either been in the attic, they've been on the left rack, they've been on the floor, they've been in here, they've been all over the place. I've had them for like a year and a half. And I've been planning to do this. Well, now I need to make a decision what we're doing with lighting because I just hired an engineer to get all the engineering done on the pole barn because we're going to do this thing. I decided I'm not buying a 997 RS, so instead I'm going to buy a Washbay to wash no cars. I have no cars to wash, so I'm just going to be washing everybody else's car.
I'll be in line for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can wash the truck for me. I don't mind washing the car. The truck's a 2-hour event.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's done. So
all right, let me grab the remote. We need to put the diffuser back on.
I used this one, Matt. You told me to use this one. Don't need a remote. You like that? That's really first class install, Mike. We can do this to your house. See how long that took? What, 10 minutes? You can have all your lights in your garage done in half an hour. Yeah.
You don't need attic.
No, all you do is you get some stickums and you wire tie these to the wall. Wall. If you have any wiring problems, you just go right to it. And if the mice can't chew it, because you can see if they did, you'd fix it. No problem. I thought you wanted to use this one.
Well, this communicates with that as well. Well,
Okay.
let's see what happens.
All right, well, I'm gonna plug it in. Maybe some fire's gonna happen. We're not sure here.
Okay. The light's on.
Okay, it's on. There we go.
Okay.
Now what?
Now, let's see if it, uh-oh.
I hit this. Oh, so it works.
Shoot, we got something to freaking eyeball right when I need to be looking at something. So we have the remote, so let's see what happens in the remote. Let me see if I can program this thing.
I mean, they should have to sync, right?
Start.
First. So the
Place
module
configuration tool on a level surface. Scanning. So it should find this light.
That's what I'm saying. It's got to sync somehow so it knows what to control. Because this is not direct wired. It's just wireless as well. This thing. It doesn't have a line and a load. It's just line only. So there's just power feeding it. That's it.
Okay, it's connected. 2 devices, there's only one.
Well, it's connecting with this one too.
Oh yeah, okay, got it. Okay.
3 quick flashes. That's usually program mode when.
So
There it is.
you don't need to put the switch in line then.
It's not in line. No, it's just powered.
Gotcha.
That's all it is. You just have to power it. It's a line only.
So this was so cool about all this lighting stuff. They always talk about how complex it is and how it has to be professional only, and
Yeah, it's not.
it's really, they make it idiot proof. That's the whole point. This actually calibrates. There's an ambient light sensor as well, like
so it knows
daylight
if you
sensor
have
and stuff.
skylights or whatever's in
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Let's go. How much calibrating you need to do? I want to change the color.
I wonder if we should have the diffuser on there to be doing this.
Yeah, put the diffuser on there.
We're probably a little late in the game for it. But.
It's all right. We got this. All right, device is learning.
Oh, it definitely turned blue there. Did you notice the color change?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quality seems pretty good.
Yeah.
It's bright as heck.
For
Can't
one
even look
light,
at it, yeah.
that's quite a bit. You're gonna have 30 of these?
I think this is 12,000, oh no, 6,000 lumens.
Yeah, that's what you're shooting.
Yeah. Setup complete. Okay. So let's see if this changes color temp here.
So that's a dimmer. So the other yellow one is, the other side is the color change. The big side.
Well, this should be on off though. Yeah, that's on off.
So does that not do color change then?
I have to read the directions.
Or maybe you have to hold them both down together. Yeah, that's bluing up.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yep. It was probably already at 4. That's where it's at.
Yeah, that's pretty slick, huh? Well, that's pretty yellow. Jeez.
So that's traditional 2700.
You look tan.
So most of the time, I'd rather just use a darn switch and have to mess with this remote.
Agreed.
But you need the remote. That was the thing. You need this remote in order to calibrate everything. Like this.
So you just use
squawk.
that once and then set it aside, and then you use
Basically,
this wall
yeah.
switch for everything else. So what are you doing there?
You have to select the group in order to change the color temp with this.
Oh, okay.
So that's 5,000. It goes in 100K increments.
Okay.
So the 0 to 10 volt is definitely integrated. So that does save quite a bit of cost. Also saves quite a bit of waiting on POW packs, waiting on lights. Like it comes on.
Well, it makes
one
it simple
box.
to wire because you don't ever have to wire the light to the switch.
Yeah.
It just you wire them all together with 120 volt, and then you just wire those with 120 volt. You don't have to go from the switch box to the light. You can go direct, and as long as they're both powered, they can be powered independently, and then they link up with the radio frequency, and you're good.
Right. So and also like the LS fixtures have to be daisy chained. Right. Your 0 to 10 volt setup has to all be connected to, like you have one POW pack, you might have 10 lights on it or 9 lights on a POW pack. This with SmartCast, you don't have to do anything.
Which is nice because then that means there's no current limitation. With our POW packs, you're either at a 5 amp POW pack, an 8 amp, depending on how many lights you're doing. This, you just run them all off the same 120 volt circuit. Let's say it's a 15 amp light circuit.
So it's 3,000 to 6,500.
3 to 65.
So there's 3,000, there's 6,500. And then your normal would be 5K. So this would be what I'd probably use most of the time. But then in dusk, at night, I'd crank it up to 6,500 to hopefully help with mosquitoes.
What's 4,500 look like?
That's 45. This has a ton of light output too.
It does.
It's nice and diffused. Clearly very high quality. You can just feel it. Like I don't just feel crappy light. Like if we walk into another building, like go next door, even with our original OG fixtures, it's just a different.
Yeah, it's different.
You see accurate color, accurate. So then this. I wonder because I'm in here. I think because I'm in this, it won't allow me to change the color temp that way. But that's cool, in 1K increments. So here's the key things to note if you're watching this and you're not buying this from me, but we can order all this stuff for you. Key things to note, the 0 to 10 volt module, the 0 to 10 volt dimmer is integrated into the device. There's also an occupancy sensor built into the device, which I can control from the remote control. I guess you technically probably don't even need this.
Not unless you want to control it without that. If you want to put a wall switch where, like a typical wall switch, where you walk in a room and you want to hit that.
There we go. Because I was in a mode or
So
changing
if you set up with that, then you can just use that wall switch after that.
Right.
But you need this to set up.
To sync everything, yeah.
And then all those devices that device communicates, all the lighting devices must communicate through that and then relay to that.
But theoretically, I don't even need this.
No, I wouldn't think.
The advantage of this is that I know what color temp I'm at if I care. I'll have to look up what this costs. So that fixture, I think, somewhere between like around $400 or $500 range, something like that retail, I think is where it's at. Let's wire up, that's the other one. I need to put it back together. Quality's good though. I like this a lot. That was the other thing I wanted to test. All right, so here's where we're at. Flex Troffer, 3,000 to 6,500 Kelvin, adjustability in 100 Kelvin increments. CR Troffer, so the CR you saw, the difference is the CR has that big heat sink, and it's a diffuse or a reflective diffused light rather, so it's not a direct light, it's an indirect light. So these are actually, these are like 95 bucks more a fixture. So these are 590 bucks a piece for the 1x4, just to give you a frame of reference. So 500 bucks for the Flex Troffer that we just, so the color shifting one. These are 590 bucks retail. And these, I don't have the color shifting one, I didn't buy one of those. The reason why, CR9AK is the model number of the color shifting, only goes from 3,000 to 5,000 in 500 Kelvin increments, so not as useful. So if you're going to go color shifting, pay 90 bucks less, do the Flex. So just again to put this into perspective, I was going to add things up. So I can't find the price. We have to get pricing on the color changing switch, but I think it's probably something similar. So just the regular on-off switch like this, the regular SmartCast on-off switch, they're 125 bucks. So in that ballpark of like the RD Pros for the Radio Rod 2 for Lutron they're like 200. So let's just say that the color changing one is maybe 150 bucks. So not all that unrealistic. Now the price, I'm gonna have to check pricing because this pricing was a while ago, and the Cree has been insane with their price increases. But I just wanted a frame of reference for what this stuff would cost. So Flex Troffer, 500 bucks. Switch it. You only really need one, maybe two switches. Probably just one switch for the whole grouping of lights in your garage. 125 bucks. Let's say 150. The remote, the commissioning remote. So you need the commissioning remote in order to communicate with everything. The remote's a lot less than I thought. It's 290 bucks. So let's say 300 bucks for that remote. They also make a touchscreen, which it's basically like a Samsung Galaxy Pad that you sort of stick to the wall. That's 2,500 bucks. So I probably wouldn't do that. And then like there's also a wireless gateway, which again I wouldn't do, which is 500 bucks. So like if you were doing like gateway touchscreen setup, you got another $3,000 or so in whatever your lighting configuration is. But that touchscreen and gateway could do 250 fixtures. So you can do up to 250, actually 250 total devices on the system. So you could cover any house or anything like that. SmartCast isn't quite as nice as the Lutron stuff. So this would be in lieu of Lutron. So really, I think what this comes down to for us is like my Washbay situation we talked about, or detailing studio. It would be nice to kind of have the colored temperature option here in my studio here. So, Mike, you down for a project to rip all the lights out and redo them?
Yeah.
But the problem is these don't look as pretty when they're hanging. So see how this heat sink here now, we put it back together. I'm really interested to see how these look. It's a much more expensive light. It's a bit more sophisticated in this aluminum heat sink. So again, we showed you the LEDs are firing that way, and then the indirect light is then firing off of the reflector off the bottom.
I feel like these would be easy to retrofit. If you're already drywalled, you could retrofit this.
They do have a drywall ring for all of these.
Yep. Obviously, you have to follow in between, depending which way your truss cords go. Mm-hmm. But
so this is why we did the 1x. I mean, I have a 2x4 over here, but unless you're doing drop ceiling, these don't really work. Because your trusses are going to be 24 inches on center. So
yeah, only gives you 22.5 between.
Yeah, so you don't have enough room to fit this sucker, especially if you have another trim ring as well. So this is a 2 foot by 4 foot Flex Troffer,
right? I know. With super
again,
nice.
The beauty of this. So even at 500 bucks, it seems really expensive. These PAL packs that we're using here are the 8 amp version. I think they're like $150 for just the PAL pack. Now you don't need a PAL pack for every single light, so I guess maybe you'd add. Let's see if we have a PAL pack 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights, so yeah, 25 bucks per light is added, so it's not saving you that much. Really what you're paying for in this setup, you're paying for the color shiftability, the ability to change color temp. And then 90 plus CRI, the quality of light is the same as we have in here. It's just really, really great. Not all LEDs are created equal, and the specs you get on Amazon are freaking nonsense. They're usually leaving out the was it R8 value or R9 value? They're leaving that out in their averaging. It's just not accurate. This also has a nicer, just a nicer fixture. Like the little rounded bevel and stuff just looks nicer than the Flex. It's because the Flex is using the enclosure as its diffuser, as its reflector. So we were just saying it's $590 for this one, not for the color shift. So the color shifting is probably another 50, 60 bucks. So the
or
CR,
more maybe.
Yeah, the CR Troffer is quite a bit more. So we'll probably reserve all this stuff for just Garage Design. They can design it for you. Good luck trying to find this stuff. Can't even freaking find pricing in my own. It's like deep in my own archives. So good luck trying to find pricing on what these things cost online. It doesn't exist. It does look, oh man, that would look really good. Yeah. In the garage to have that recessed and drywall. Nice white ceiling.
I'll be curious to get the trim ring for drywall and see what it looks like. Is it flanged? Where?
No, it's like just a little frame.
It is?
Yeah, it's crazy even looking at it. You would need a lot of these.
I feel like the other one had more output. For sure.
Well, it does. That was a 6,000 lumen. This is 5.
Yeah. This is like about half.
Well, it's firing up and reflecting instead of firing down.
Yep.
It's not dispersing as well.
It's because the light itself is tucked in further, so it's not able to get the angle, I think.
Yeah, I don't really see a need for this light in our arsenal at all.
Not for more money, and it doesn't do as much. I mean, it'd be just aesthetics. If you like this look, I guess that'd be the only thing.
Yeah.
I don't mind the way that looks either.
Yeah, that looks great.
Yeah.
Especially imagine that was recessed, it would look clean.
Everything flush, yeah. Yep.
I'd choose the ZR Troffer over this. The ZRs are half the price of both of these.
Yeah.
Because ZRs, you can go up to 12,000 lumens. They're much more capable and less money. It is quite a bit softer.
Yeah. I guess like in an office setting or something, maybe, if they were like 8-foot ceilings.
But a garage, anywhere in my house, residentially, I don't see a need. Cool, so that's a wrap. So hit us up, obsessedgarage.com. Go to, you can fill out the design form or shoot an email to us at design@obsessedgarage.com or matt@obsessedgarage.com if you want to talk about this stuff. LS fixtures are amazing. I love this Flex Troffer as an option that I've been thinking about for a long time. But the key here is that, remember, not all lighting is created equal, not all specs. You can't live by specs because the specs lie to you a lot. You really want to make sure that you're getting a high quality LED. Cree is a good way to, we also carry Utopia lighting, which would be a step above. But Cree, these are the solutions I've been searching for forever. Like the LED tube style stuff that we've been carrying for years is okay. I didn't even shoot. If you even read the description of that, it says, look, I don't think this is the end all be all, but it's a nice option. These are where we're getting into more sophisticated lighting. You need 0 to 10 volt control or smart cast control. So you need a little bit of help with design of that. But we can do foot candle calculations, calculate how many lumens we need to light your space properly, and then I generally prefer to overlight. This room is overlit, and then we would just dim it down, have control. So we can overlight it when we're doing a video or something like that, and then bring it down to 70, 80% dim when we're doing like normal normal functional work, or if you're detailing, you want some more light, you want the headroom to be able to crank it up. The key is to keep rooms where it's not shadowed and you have ample light everywhere. But we can help you design that. So hit us up. We'd really love to earn your business, and we don't charge for that service. But what we do ask is that you pay retail. If you want a discount, one way to do that is to join our Inside the Hex membership, which will save you 10% off your lighting. So anyway, thanks for watching, and as always, we'll see you on the next video. As always, stay tuned for more crazy. See you soon.